seriously on BaD Radio.
Tell Draft, brought to you by Charter Business and All Pro Foundation Repair on the official radio home of the Dallas Cowboys, Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
All of us are proud when somebody from our school goes to the NFL. Larry's proud when he sees TCU produce players. Mickey loves to see Missouri produce players. Donovan Lewis is real happy when somebody leaves loose there at Justice Center.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You will not diss East Texas State University or Texas A&M Commerce. I'm a proud alum.
Well,
we can say anything here.
Anything.
It's okay, honey. That's why we came.
Well, I guess deep down I'm feeling a little confused. I mean, suddenly you get married and you're supposed to be this entirely different guy. I don't feel different. I mean, take yesterday for example. We were out at the Olive Garden for dinner, which was lovely, and I happened to look over at a certain point during the meal and see a waitress taking an order, and I found myself wondering what color her underpants might be. Her panties. Odds are they're probably basic white cotton underpants. But I started thinking, well, maybe they're silk panties. Maybe it's a thong. Maybe it's something really cool that I don't even know about, you know. And I started feeling what? What? I thought we were in the trust tree in the nest. Are we not?
We are.
Okay.
We are. It's okay.
Bridget Bardot is 73.
Hot snake. Still? Doesn't matter. Was.
Could you have that?
In her day.
Yeah. One phone call. One phone call.
But that's still a pretty nice piece.
Hey, Tom.
No way.
I think she was naked Playboy at like age 50.
Hey, Tom.
Really?
There's some snapshots of her, yeah.
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, Ty.
Just because your mic's on doesn't mean you have to take advantage of it.
Okay, F you, Ty. Why don't you just die? Why don't you make everybody happy and die?
Good God.
What's that all about?
Boy, I thought me and Grego were in a fight. Ty just bows up.
About what?
I'm throwing
big
him
bad
up
Ty,
right
and
now.
He just wants to blow up and take me on.
Wow.
Fat F.
Whoa!
Wow.
Hey, you can't mess with Tom in his
He's a
hometown.
Marine,
This is
too.
his
Look at
home.
that.
Salute,
Yeah,
Tommy.
he decides to just blindside me. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't piss Tom off before he's eating his candy bar.
You rip with a P.
Man, I wish I.
Dude, Tom is really mad.
He is upset.
I wish I had Radio TiVo right now
Calm
so I
down.
could see what happened.
Dude, Tom is actually mad.
Eat your fun dip or your pixie sticks. Or
All
whatever
right,
you need.
Hiawatha, you calm down too. Boy,
this is
that
great.
Miami loss really affected him.
What a great day this is.
I know.
Let's begin, shall we? Shall we?
Any dogs in the house? And they're all like,
Right about now, Sports Radio 1310 The Ticker presents the BaD Radio Weekly Wrap-Up Podcast. This week, Dan's maiden voyage to Six Flags, Anthony Jeselnik in studio, and the 2013 GBL Draft. Also, Groob, Seabass, Uncle Tom Gribble, and your man Donnie Dew. And now, two guys who would certainly be laughing if they knew I was recording this in my car in my garage right now. It's Bob Sturm and Dan McDowell.
Hell yeah, bitches! Hello,
Yeah. What's up, P1s? It's your buddy Jay Kemp here with another edition of the BaD Radio Weekly Wrap-Up Podcast. This episode covering the broadcast week of May 27 to 31 in the year 2013. Guest intensive on the pod this week is we have Donovan, and 1920s reporter guy, meeting up with Seth Rogen. Also have Anthony Jeselnik in studio for a couple of gold segments, and we will wrap things up with the GBL Draft. But we lead things off with some sort of sports. It's some sports audio featuring Tom Grieve and, of course, his sidekick Buzz, and then the Tom Grieve Show.
all right, you need audio. I know you do. Don't run from it.
Okay.
So they always say that every baseball game you have a chance to see something you've never seen before, no matter how much baseball you watch.
That's the beauty of the sport, Bob.
I assume in the upcoming edition of the Tom Grieve Show, he will say something to that effect, because Friday night we did have an amazing baseball moment. It involved a 3-6-3 double play, or so we thought. It involved a ground ball to Mitch Moreland, who then fires over to Elvis, and then Elvis with the relay back to Mitch Moreland. Justin Grimm is on the hill, though, Dan, and Grimm is going over to cover first base. The relay call is very, very close, kind of a bang-bang play, and if Moreland actually catches the ball, it's a 3-6-3, I believe. Eric Wedge comes out of the dugout to argue the call on the basis that Moreland's foot had been pulled off the bag. The only problem here, and maybe what you've never seen before, is that they called him out despite the fact that Justin Grimm actually caught the ball nowhere near first base. It was ridiculous. For them to blow the call was amazing, given that the first baseman was given credit for catching a ball he didn't actually have.
Did you see it happen the next night, but they called it the correct way? The exact same thing happened.
Yeah.
And the umpire got it right.
Now, all of that is remarkable and something you've never heard before.
Wait, so the argument was that Moreland pulled his foot off the bag?
That's what Eric Wedge thought he was coming out to argue.
Yet he didn't even have the ball.
No, he didn't catch it.
Which Wedge didn't even find out until...
So, like, did he pull his foot off the bag? Like, was the ump staring at the foot and not really paying attention to the ball? Because how else would you make that call?
You know, they listen for the mitt and look at the foot.
But even Grimm's body language is, I have the ball. You know, it was really weird.
I mean, it's not like he was on a pitcher's mound. He was standing right next to him.
But he was
right there.
He was smart enough to not take it out of his glove and throw it, because he started to, and then he's like, oh, wait, we just got away with this.
Yeah.
Let me talk to Mitch Moreland for a second.
All right, now all of that's remarkable. Not the least of, but that's not what I want to talk about here. What we need to talk about before the Tom Grieve Show is singular Tom Grieve audio, I think, that will then have to compete with the Ashley Lynn audio for the most awesome audio in the history of our show. All right, here's Tom Grieve at the moment as they're examining the replay and finding out what actually happened.
He did catch the ball. Who caught the ball?
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
I thought so.
That's what I don't know if Wedge went out there to argue that.
I thought Mitch must have caught the ball, and Grimm was like deking the runner like he had the ball. He caught the ball.
Holy cow.
I'll guarantee Eric Wedge has no idea that's what happened.
All right, just one more time. Just one more time to make sure you hear how many octaves Grieve touches here.
He did catch the ball. Who caught the ball?
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
I thought
the second one sounds
Bro,
like,
that might be higher than Tom.
All right, so here is the Ashley Lynn audio.
Oh my God!
Oh wow, I don't know.
We didn't recognize you the dog here.
Can you start with who caught the ball?
I think so.
Or the second?
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
Oh my God!
Like Grimm caught the ball versus oh my God.
Now, if you've never heard
Start
this
with Grimm
audio
caught the-
before, this is Tom back on the Kid Craddock show when he noticed a friend of their show had
Tom
actually...
Gribble.
Tom Gribble.
Yeah, Grieve was never on the Kid Craddock show.
Our tag, when he noticed that a girl he was familiar with had actually changed her hair color without any sort of press release.
It was part of my contract that I had to talk in that high-pitched voice on that show.
All right. So one more time, here's Tom Grieve after he finds out that Grimm had the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
I thought so.
Oh my God!
All right,
You
now
know, the repeat
Tom,
of Ashley Lynn is amazing. Like,
Tom Gribble.
Uh-huh.
Maybe slightly higher, but when you put it in a context of who's saying it and what you expect them to sound like, I think Tom Grieve.
I think
that's
what's
throwing
me off. Yeah. Left his neighborhood more demonstratively than Mr. Gribble, it seems. All right.
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
I thought so.
Oh my God!
That is amazing. Yeah, you're right. The second Ashley Lynn is amazing. That might be the highest octave ever.
For Tom to stay there, Gribble, for him to stay there for that long is really impressive. Your endurance at that octave,
thank
Tom.
you.
But boy, agree.
I'm in excellent shape.
One more time, agree.
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
I thought so.
Play, even go back a few seconds,
right.
maybe the beginning, because the first time his voice does get high.
All right.
Who did catch the ball? Who caught the ball?
Who caught the ball?
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
Grimm caught the ball.
All right. Well, we'll see if Tom has come down from that high with the Tom Grieve Show next.
C-O-M, Grieve, Grieve, Grieve. The Tom Grieve Show is here. Texas Rangers Hall of Fame. Will we go back to the World Series? Or will we suck this year? Will that tally start or close? He's the only one who knows. Now let's start the Tom Grieve Show.
Yeah, sponsors.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
Yeah. All right, let's go live to a guy who is overworked, certainly underpaid. It is Tom Grieve with a rare Tuesday off. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Bob.
We were just examining.
I was just trying to get it through my head that you said I was overpaid, and I said I hope no one's listening to that.
Overworked, underpaid, I thought.
Oh, I mean underpaid. That's what I meant to say. Overpaid is what I am. Underpaid is not what I am.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, let's just let's go back to Friday night when Justin Grimm caught the ball. We were just listening to your audio as you perhaps changed the normal pitch in your voice with surprise that play had just happened. I guess that does prove that you can see something new every time you go to the park, huh?
You really can. It was almost like a magic trick because both gloves were almost touching each other, and a couple of people noticed it. It just doesn't occur to you that could have happened. The umpire is right there. He makes the call. Mitch Moreland was stretched out as far as he could, and the thing you're wondering is, did he keep his foot on the bag? It doesn't occur to you that you have to determine who caught the ball. You just assumed that Mitch caught the ball. And so we watched, I watched one replay, and I was watching to see if he kept his foot on the bag. And I think we remarked something like he did keep his foot on the bag. And, then I saw Justin Grimm move and look toward third base. It was almost like something Adrian Beltre would do when he pretends he's catching a pop-up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, well, he's like pretending he's got the ball. And then I thought, well, there's another base runner who I guess was going to third at the time. Maybe Justin saw Mitch in a big stretch, and he might have a hard time throwing the ball. So Justin acted like he had the ball to maybe make the runner keep from taking the base. You just get confused. I didn't know what happened. And then it occurred to me, geez, his glove was right there with Mitch's. Who caught the ball? And then we watched it again and realized that Justin caught the ball. So I never would have faulted the umpire. The umpire is looking, he's waiting for the sound and looking at the foot. He hears the sound of the ball hitting the glove. He looks at Mitch's foot because he assumes it's Mitch that's going to catch the ball and calls him out. Eric Wedge came out, the Seattle manager, to argue. He didn't have the slightest idea what happened. It was just a bizarre play. It really was. Still to this day, I don't have any idea what Justin was doing over there, that close to the play with Mitch on the bag.
It's funny that Wedge had a winning argument, yet he didn't know it.
No,
he was arguing something else.
Yeah, and then Buzz and I kind of asked Buzz, when would it be too late to change the call?
Yeah.
Because eventually Grimm has to walk back to the mound, and the ball never comes from Moreland back to Grimm to go to the mound and make the next pitch. But at the same time, when you go to watch a magician, you see everything. You're looking at what happens, but you don't know what happened. Well, you're watching this, but it never occurs to you that you have to watch to see the ball go back to the pitcher. And did Moreland give the guy the ball? So it was just kind of bizarre. But if the umpire realized, wait a minute, Grimm has the ball, Moreland never gave it to him, would you be able to change the call while he's halfway back to the mound, or do you just have to kind of stick with the call? I don't really know. One of the guys in the truck had the best scenario is that somehow you pull that play. Grimm has got the ball, and while he walks back toward third base and somehow gets the ball to Beltre, and they pull the hidden ball trick on the same play to the guy on third base. So you have a phantom play at third, and then pull the hidden ball trick at third base. That would have been maybe an all-timer that you would be able to say, I've never seen. You'll never see anything like that again.
That'd be a triple play. In theory.
I suppose it would.
Because between pitches, there would have been 3 outs.
A very disjointed one.
Yeah, I guess. The out at first and the out at third would have been 2. Where's the third one?
It was a dumb play to begin with.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about the first half. And, that's why the umpire at second base, he really wouldn't be watching it. He's watching the play at second. He's not really studying. You're not trained to say, okay, the pitcher's glove is right near the first baseman's glove. I have to watch carefully to see who catches the ball. That's just something that never goes through your mind. You see the stretch from the first baseman. You just assume he's going to catch it.
So something like that never happens, then it kind of happened again the next night, right?
Yeah, refresh my memory.
I don't remember what game it was, but the same exact thing happened, but the umpire called it the correct way because the pitcher caught the ball. Same exact thing, but he got it right.
Yeah, I guess it's all running together for me.
There's been a lot of baseball since Friday.
There really
night.
has been a lot of baseball.
So, okay.
Yeah, it's tough to lose 3 games in 30 hours, but we did.
Yeah, that kind of a buzzkill after all the hijinks of Friday and Saturday, especially Saturday. Okay, you have Felix Hernandez on the hill. You have the Rangers getting the win, but the only thing I could leave Saturday's game thinking about is how entertaining the left side of your infield is between Elvis and Adrian Beltre. And Beltre plays a fantastic straight man in this comedy duo because he always looks like he wants to punch Elvis, but they're clearly having the time of their lives playing Major League Baseball. And it's a fantastic element of your broadcast that sometimes flies under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, I think it probably flew under the radar a couple of years ago, but as we've kind of gotten in tune to it, now the camera guys are kind of focused on it, and not much goes by without us getting a pretty good look at it. I think there's maybe a moment where Adrian really is mad, but then he catches himself and said, "Look, I can't get mad." And the best part about it is he looks mad. He turns with this terrible look to Elvis. Sometimes he fires his arm at him or kicks at him, but then the next thing you see him laughing like crazy, and you go, oh, good, everything's okay. So Elvis, whatever happens to Elvis in that relationship, Elvis deserves. He's the one that provokes Adrian. He loves. You see him being interviewed after the game. I think maybe Dana was interviewing him, and he's acting like, yeah, geez, all I was trying to do is take charge, and he pushed me out of the way. I thought he was going to hit me. He's acting like poor me. Well, none of that happens if he doesn't instigate every single part of it. And Adrian loves it too. It's just something that they like to do.
On the pop fly, Elvis was laughing the whole time. That's what made it so great. As Adrian's moving his hand like, I got it. Elvis ran up there laughing, knowing he's going to get under the skin.
He knows what's going to happen. Number one, the shortstop is the one that's supposed to take charge. So if there's any doubt, the shortstop calls for it. The other fielders move out of the way, and he catches it. That's just kind of one of the subtle rules of infield play. he also knows that if Adrian is underneath it, he's not moving out of the way. So he's torn. I got to take charge, and then it's, oh man, it's Adrian. If it's Jeff Baker, Jeff will let me catch the ball, but Adrian's not going to let me catch the ball. So he goes over there, and when you're trying to concentrate on catching a pop-up, it's not that easy as the ball's coming down to swat another player out of the way and concentrate and catch the ball at the same time. The people I would like to see and their reaction, or maybe the fans that are watching it from the stands, and they're going, wait a minute, did you see that? He just slapped at him with his glove and pushed him out of the way to catch the ball. Do they hate each other?
Yeah.
Why would he do that? The shortstop's supposed to take charge. And it has to create some kind of dilemma in the eyes of the fans onto really what's going on. For us, we know what's going on. We see it all the time, and it's funny. And as Wash said, no matter what happens, Adrian was going to be the guy to catch that ball, and he would not drop it. So it's not, someone said to Wash, are you worried that the confusion there and pushing him out of the way would let that ball drop? And Wash just said that ball was not going to drop. When Adrian pulled that move, the other part of it is the 100% is the percentage of the chance that he was going to catch that ball. And he's right. He wasn't going to drop that ball.
So is that before or after the hijinks with the meeting on the hill? Where they're all talking to the pitcher, and then Elvis has to hit him on the head and runs away, and Beltre fires his glove at him. I mean,
when you think about it, it's almost like, well, it is like two kids out on the mound. It's one thing to tap him on the head after a home run when he comes back in the dugout. That's kind of what happens. But when there's a pitching change and they're both kind of walking to the mound because it's more fun to be on the mound and listen to what Wash is saying and kind of be in the action than just sit out there and twiddle your thumbs at your position while it all happens. And then it's like Elvis just can't leave well enough alone. It's like, well, here we are. Let's see. I think I'm going to touch Adrian's head. That'll be funny. And so he touches his head. Adrian kicks him, and Elvis runs away like, you can't catch me, you can't catch me. And Adrian fires his glove at him. It's just great to watch, because if you watched it in a Sandlot or something like that, you wouldn't think anything about it. But in a big league game where you would think in the heat of battle everything is so proper, to me it's kind of refreshing to see two guys just carrying on like kids and having a ball. You hear people say all the time, it's a kid's game, you have to have fun. Well, then when you do it, you can't act upset about it, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're having fun. And they're also playing the game, the two of them, at the highest level it can be played. You're talking about two of the best defensive players at their positions, two of the best, they're all-star players. They're among the best players in baseball. Adrian was voted not the best third baseman, but the best defensive player in baseball 2 years in a row. So it's not like you got two clowns out there that can't play, that are making a fool out of themselves. These guys are two of the greatest players in the game out there having a blast. And to me, everybody else should watch it and let a little bit of that fun rub off on them too. We'd all have more fun watching the games.
No, it's great stuff.
All right, this is the Tom Grieve Show. Every week at about this time, we talk to Texas Ranger Hall of Famer Tom Grieve, who is highly under.
One more thing, Dan, while I'm thinking of it. There's old timers who will say, I don't see what that conversation, what the merit of that conversation those guys are having. It's a joke. You shouldn't make fun of the game that way. It's a proud game, and you should play it that way. And then you go back to where things that used to happen in the game 60 and 70 years ago, when the outfielder left his glove in center field when he ran back to the bench, and the other guy would go out there and put crickets in his glove or fill it up with sand. So, this kind of stuff has been going on in baseball since the day it was discovered, because there probably is a lot of truth to what people say. It's a kid's game. It's men playing it and have fun. And this is not new. It's just with the TV angles that we have and all the cameras and every game being broadcast, you see it now. But crazier stuff when Jimmy Pearsall was playing was going on back then than is going on now. So nothing has changed in that regard.
I remember reading as a kid that Jimmy Pearsall, on his 100th home run, ran the bases backwards.
Yeah.
And apparently that was an accepted form of celebration. I think Stan Musial might have done it as well.
Yeah, and I'm not positive. I know that story about Jimmy Pearsall, but I'm not positive if he went to third base backwards or he ran backwards the normal way around the bases.
Well, you have to.
I think he ran backwards, or the normal route, just backwards. I believe.
Yeah,
is what I understand.
Or else you'd be called out.
Kind of ludicrous to do it.
And you'd have 99 home runs still.
But it's Jimmy Pearsall. Jimmy Pearsall was a Ranger coach for a while in spring training, and he's one of the all-time greatest personalities I've met in baseball. He was intense. Guys used to make, he had the nervous breakdown, and baseball humor being what it was, occasionally, guys would call him cuckoo and stuff like that. And he actually had papers that proved that he was sane. And he would get these papers out and say, I can prove that at least we thought that's what they were. They might have been blank papers, but we didn't read them. And he would say, I can prove that I'm sane. Can you? And that would kind of end the conversation, and off he would go. But, yeah, he was a great character at the game, no doubt.
I always wondered if this was just a cartoon or if this existed. The hot foot. Was there did somebody put a pack of matches in someone's shoe and light it?
The greatest hot foot I've ever seen. Kenny Rogers, when he was playing for Oakland, did it to Ron Washington when Ron was the third base coach, and he got probably maybe 10 or 12 stick matches, cut them in half, and wrapped them together, and put gum on them, and had the fuse was like, I think it was a cigarette butt maybe, that was lit, that would eventually light the matches. I'm not sure the mechanism that started it. And anyway, he put it on Ron's shoe right before Ron went out to coach third base, and then told our camera guy to keep a camera on Wash at third base. So Wash is out coaching third base, and eventually, whatever the mechanism was, lit the stick matches, and the flame went from his ankle up to about his knees, and he jumped up in the air, and we had a perfect shot of it on the camera. So that's one of the best, and it kind of goes in cycles. We did. Joe Levito was a guy that used to like to give hot feet, and there was probably a 2-week period on our bench where every 5 or 10 seconds you had to look down to your shoes to make sure that someone wasn't doing it to you. So. Yeah, the hot foot was a big one for sure.
Okay, I thought it was just fake. It exists.
Toby Hara bought itching powder, these chemically treated hairs that come in a little package, and he would sprinkle it on guys during the game. He did it. Gaylord Perry came out of a game one time in like the second inning, and he would have all the hot stuff taken off his arm and re-put on his arm, the atomic bomb that he puts on his arm to keep it loose. And while he was going through that process, Toby sprinkled this itching powder on his shoulder and his neck. And so when Gaylord went back out to the mound, he's going through all these fake spitball maneuvers that he does, and he's like itching the back of his head uncontrollably while he was out on the mound, and everybody on the bench is just dying laughing at it. So, you would think those things would never happen in a professional game, but you have so much time together in 6 months, and you try to break up the monotony, and you come up with things, and you hope your manager's not watching, and you hope if he is, he understands, but that's just kind of the way it goes.
I think this was one of my favorite Tom Grieve shows ever.
There's no doubt.
We had none of this on the map, in the playbook.
It's a fun thing to talk to with old-time players because I'm 65. You could talk to Eddie Robinson, who's in his 90s, and Eddie could tell you what they were doing back in the 40s and 30s, 40s, and 50s when he was playing. It would be what they did on the train rides that they used to have, and what did you do during the games. And these kind of stories, they're not unique to me. They're unique to baseball, and it's fun. The other thing about them that I'll be the first to admit, once it's 10 or 15 years since they've happened, you've added a few things to them. They're not exactly what happened. They're all based on fact, and you've told the story so many times that it seems like fact. But then when you talk to someone else that saw the same thing, his version is a little bit different, and you realize that your memory doesn't serve you perfectly when you look back on those things.
Fantastic.
We didn't even talk Yu Darvish. We didn't even talk Profar.
He'll be here all summer.
Will Profar?
Oh, that's
that's doubtful. When Ian comes back, I would think Jurickson would go back down and play every day because Lauri is doing a pretty good job as the utility guy. So I wouldn't think he would be here after that. But who knows?
What are your thoughts getting a chance to watch him though for a little bit? Got to be impressed.
Well, you have to be impressed, but it's not a surprise. He's one of the most highly touted prospects in baseball, so it stands to reason you're going to see him do a lot of good things. The other thing you have to remember is he's only 20 years old, and it's not a simple game to play when you're only 20 years old. But I think the thing that Wash says about him is probably as true as anything. It's not just his unique talent. It's the fact that he's a baseball player. He's got good instincts. He doesn't have to learn how to play the game. He just has to get on the job training and keep going about his business because he knows how to play the game. He's not intimidated by it. He respects it. He really has a kind of perfect makeup for a 20-year-old who's as highly touted as he is. He doesn't act like he's a star, doesn't act like he's the best prospect in baseball. He's respectful to his teammates, and he's just a really good young player who's got a great future.
Well, it's a hot foot edition of the Tom Grieve Show, and a fantastic one it was. 2 more with Arizona coming back here, and we will visit with you again next week, Tom. Thanks.
I'll leave you with one quick thing. The other best hot foot I saw, we had a player in Denver named Joe Patterson. Joe Pat, we used to call him. He was about 35 years old. He'd been in AAA for about 15 years. And one of the greatest sports writers in minor league baseball was a man named Frank Haraway in Denver. And Joe Patterson gave Frank Haraway a hot foot. And he lit him up, and the hot foot went on and on. It burned the leather on his shoe. He was afraid it was going to start his pant legs on fire. And finally it went out, and Frank never flinched. And Joe Patterson said, I can't believe it. I give one hot foot, and the guy can't even feel it. And the clubhouse manager, who knew Frank before we ever got there, said, you're going to have a hard time giving him a hot foot on that leg because he has a wooden leg. If you want him to feel it, you better do it to his other leg. So there's another hot foot story for you.
Wow. That will be difficult to top that one. That's great. All right, Tom, we'll be watching tomorrow night. Thanks.
Okay, guys. Talk to you later.
There he goes.
T-O.
What are you going to do?
Well, you'd think that hot foot would never go out. Everybody's so toasty.
It's a big day for a lot of people.
That is good time.
Does the Ron Washington hot foot exist on tape?
I was thinking the same thing. I could not find it on YouTube. I did find a Lenny Dykstra hot foot.
Really?
Yeah. It's happened. It's happened a few times. Although, I'd love to hear Ron Washington elaborate on his run-ins with hot foot someday. Put that on the list.
Why don't you do it in Ron Washington voice, what you think he would say?
Me? I don't have near the Ron Washington you have.
Ooh-wee.
Maybe I do.
It really was pure coincidence, and I'd say luck that I had that drop ready right there, but I'm glad that I did. Now, Tom Grieve has referenced before that he enjoys, or at least at one time enjoyed, the movie Sandlot. I certainly was a huge fan as a kid, but it's now time to learn what Bob, Dan, and Donovan think about it in our movie review of the month.
Movie of the month time.
Yeah!
Every time we do this, we get literally 1 million suggestions for next month, so we'll accept them. Try to make it somewhat timely with something, whether it's the season or whether it's the ballpark just had a sleepover and showed this movie. Now, you want to lay it all out? You like to give the biographical information, things
I do.
like that.
Today's movie, The Sandlot, 1993. The movie that tells a story, Dan, about a bunch of young kids in the summer of '62.
This movie totally missed me as I was just getting out of college and getting into the real world and stuff. I guess there's no reason I would see a kids movie.
And yet, somehow I saw it. So I don't know if that
I did also.
speaks to my arrested development as a youngster, or I don't know why I saw it.
Yeah, I wonder why you would see this movie.
But I did see it.
You didn't go to the theaters or anything to see it, did you?
I was going to say I'm quite confident I didn't, but you know what? That might explain it.
Because why would you sit and watch it?
We had like a 20-plex within 300 yards of my dorm, and I'm pretty sure I saw every movie that ever came there, so maybe that's
that makes
why.
more sense than sitting there watching it on cable 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
I was positive I did that.
Well, The Sandlot.
So there you go.
And Jake, everybody else has seen it, though?
Oh, yeah.
This is big in your wheelhouse? Like a
double digits.
Of the 30-year-old in our
double
audience.
digits? What does that mean?
I mean, I've probably seen it 10, 12 times in my life.
Why?
I don't know. It was just one of those. It was probably the first sports movie that me and my friends fell in love with. Just
like, how old were you in 93?
8.
Okay, I can see it then.
I think this is to millennials what Bad News Bears was to a previous generation. Millennials love this movie.
Millennials?
Thank you.
Tom just introduced that.
People Jake's age.
He's a millennial?
Why don't we just say
He's a
like
millennial.
30-year-olds or something? Or is millennial?
Well, that's very cumbersome.
Now,
Bob.
you didn't see this, did you, Tom?
Not when it came out. No,
Okay.
I was fighting in the Gulf. Still, the war was over for 2 years, but I was still fighting. I was like that Japanese soldier on the island. I didn't know the war was over.
I was pretty busy, fighting for freedom while you guys are going to
Well,
movies.
let me tell you about my mistake last night. So I bought The Sandlot. First of all, I went on iTunes and saw there was 2 of them. One of them was The Sandlot. One of them was The Sandlot 2. So I
Right.
bought The Sandlot. So I'm sitting there watching this with my kids last night. I see Luke Perry. He's up to bat in the beginning of the movie. He gets hit by a pitch. He goes back in time to The Sandlot.
What?
And I'm looking at the IMDb page, and I'm looking at Luke Perry, and I'm like, it's just not even listing him here. Apparently, I had bought the third.
Sweet.
Really?
Which came out in 2006.
Starring Luke Perry?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know that existed.
So then I quickly turned it off and said, kids, I'm sorry. I just made you watch half hour of a movie that we're not going to finish, but this other movie we're reviewing tomorrow, so we're going to start another movie.
Wow.
And I found it on DirecTV On Demand, I guess, and you can't even buy The Sandlot. You have to rent it.
Right.
Which I did.
All right, so it's the story of Scotty. Where
Scott Smalls.
Scotty moves into a new neighborhood, basically.
And I'll tell you what, for all the people that have ever said, you're killing me, Smalls, now I get it.
Yeah.
I've heard that phrase a million times, but I've never really known.
That was Tom Grieve's go-to. Whenever you mention The Sandlot, which we certainly should on the next Tom Grieve show, he will instantly, almost like a dog doing tricks, just spring right into you're killing me, Smalls. Which, I suppose it's the catchphrase from this movie, but Scotty Smalls moves in with his parents, his stepdad being Dennis Leary.
Very odd casting there. I don't.
Well, I guess he wasn't
understand-
Dennis Leary at the time.
But I understand James Earl Jones, baseball guy, baseball movie type person.
Sure.
Let's try to work him in. Dennis Leary just seemed to come out of nowhere.
Was he a big deal back then, though, or was
Well,
he
was
trying to make
certainly
his way?
Post-MTV, Dennis Leary. We all knew him as No Cure for Cancer guy before that, right?
93? I don't know. I can't tell you when Dennis Leary was on the scene for me. I can't remember.
Looks like 93 is the year that his song came out. The A-Hole. Remember that one?
Yeah.
That was
Okay,
like
so
his
that's
first
kind of
huge
Dennis Leary wheelhouse then.
Yeah.
Yet stars in kids movie. Stars.
Yeah, I was going to say very
barely in kids movie.
pointless, not a pointless part, but a part that could have been played by anyone.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's in there kind of dialing it down, kind of being the dad who's interested in other things.
Well, you talk about dialing it down, yeah.
Yeah.
None of his.
All right, so there is young Scotty, and of course you have a group of neighborhood kids, and he's a little shy and doesn't quite want to get in there with them, and before long, he gets their blessing and joins the game,
Well, hold
despite
on.
having no idea.
Let's first of all set up that this is a kid who seems to really be into baseball. But here, can I have audio, Jake? But doesn't know a lot about baseball.
Right.
Here's when he meets the kids, first of all.
I'm the Great Bambino! What? I'm the Great Bambino!
What?
I'm the great Bambino.
Who's that?
Oh, dear.
What?
I had no idea who they were talking about.
What did he say? What, were you born in a barn, man? Yeah, what planet are you from?
But there was no way I could let them know.
You never heard of the Sultan of SWAT?
The Titan of Terror.
The Colossus of Clout? The Colossus of Clout.
The King of Crash, man.
So, I lied.
Oh, yeah, the great Bambino. Of course. I thought you said the great Bambi. That wimpy deer? Yeah, I guess. Sorry.
So he really
Wow.
likes baseball.
Now, do you like Tommy and Timmy Timmons, where Timmy always repeats what Tommy says?
That's a good bit.
But he's never heard of Babe Ruth. Also, so he's what do you say, 8, 9, 10?
Yeah.
In that wheelhouse. So
yeah.
He also can't throw, but to the point of when he tries to throw, it goes like 1 foot in front of him.
Which I think happened in the great game.
I love that.
Where
Joe Lecce
was trying to throw so hard, but his release point was straight into the ground.
I just love the point where they're playing catch and he throws it to him. He's, I'll throw it back, and he runs up to him and he puts it in his glove and he runs
Yes,
back.
he's so reluctant to throw.
But here's a 9-year-old who's never thrown a rock. He's never thrown something in
I
his
know
house.
my 3-year-old nephew can.
Like
that didn't make any
if
sense.
you don't know throw and catch, there's one thing, I suppose, if you've never played organized baseball, but you've certainly thrown something. You've thrown a pillow off your bed or something. Like, he couldn't even comprehend how to move his arm. Like, so, that's, I'm taking a point off in the realism of this
Totally
movie.
with you.
Well, but he wants to fit in, man. And after the Bambino screw-up, he just can't afford to show them that his throwing skills are not refined at this
Now,
point.
Just so you know, who's the good player?
Benny.
Benny, by the third movie.
The future Dodger great.
I think you got a little audio there.
Oh, do
Benny,
I?
by the third movie, is the manager of the Dodgers. We know by the end of this
Oh,
movie that
really?
he makes the Dodgers.
Dude,
I saw the beginning.
spoiler
of it.
alert.
No, you'll see it right in the beginning.
Yeah, I thought he was kind of fringe.
But he's so good.
He got Lasorda fired.
That they play on this Sandlot. He's clearly the best player. He invites Smalls to play, puts him out in left center, says, "Put your mitt up." And he's so good he can hit the baseball that will land in his mitt.
That's pretty good.
I thought that was friendship.
Dude,
Like, could you throw it into a mitt from 10 feet away?
He made the Dodgers.
He hit it.
Yeah.
From home plate
It was
into
clear
deep
Benny
left center field.
It's clear Benny's skill set was on a all different level from
Totally.
Squints and Timmy and Tommy and the Yeah kid and of course Ham. I mean, do you think Ham had anything to do with Benny?
He also carries
who's
two
the black
mitts.
kid in the neighborhood in the 60s. He should have been allowed on that Sandlot.
He also carries 2 mitts and gives one to Smalls. And then, at the end of the day, he realized Smalls' hat sucks.
Boy, that's
even though
a-
Smalls will keep that hat and wear it when he's 40 years old to a game to
The
see
same
Benny.
fit. Yeah, his head is just the same size.
His hat sucks, so he also happens to have another hat in his pocket. Like, this guy's just got...
What are you doing?
He's just like a walking academy.
That hat is great. That hat is great.
I sense you are going to pick this apart, and I won't stand for it. All right, so
it's nowhere near as good as 3,
So
so
we're-
he's going to pan it.
Well, no, I only saw a half hour of 3.
now, did the black kid have to wear the KC Monarchs hat though? Like,
We get it.
Of course.
do we have to
You're
be
black?
Oh, wow, really?
Do we have to be that obvious?
Really,
Do we
guy?
have to wear a hat that says?
Yes.
By the way,
That's the only way he could get on the Sandlot.
Look, did the one black pilot in Top Gun, did his call sign have to be Sundown? No, but it was then.
Did he have to wear number
Wow.
42?
I don't know what to say about all this.
All right, they're up in there. Here's where you... For a catchphrase that has caught on, and everybody knows this movie by one phrase, they only say it twice.
Yes.
In the whole movie. And here's the first time when they're cooking s'mores, and they turn that into very, very
Did the fat
high,
kid have to cook the s'mores?
high concept comedy. Well, the fat kid
It
is the
helps.
one that went and grabbed a little frosting off the cake.
He's
Fat
obviously
kid always is
very proficient at
Yeah.
s'mores.
Hey, you want a s'more? S'more what?
Okay.
No, you want a s'more. I haven't had anything yet. So how can I have some more of nothing?
Is that the dumbest kid ever?
You're killing me, Smalls.
What's
These are s'more stuff. Okay, pay attention.
He's never heard of Babe Ruth.
He doesn't
He's
know how
never
to
heard of a
throw.
s'more.
He can't catch. He can't
throw
do
something
anything.
1 foot across the room.
Understand, 50 years ago, s'mores were just breaking in.
But for him to say, "What? I don't have anything. Some more of what?"
Defending
It's
this
just
movie at every
dumb.
turn.
If he can't play sports, he should know how to cook.
Yes, that's some skill set. I'm with you, Tom.
Let's see.
He's sheltered. He lives a bit of a sheltered existence.
The clearly the signature scene, if you are 8-year-old Jake, or just about anybody, I suppose, is the girl lifeguard.
So Squints play on the lifeguard?
Squints had been planning for years to pretend to drown.
Really a genius play.
It is genius.
To be pulled out of the
Who
pool
was
by...
no doubt tried at swimming pools all over the place after 1993, right?
My hot lifeguard.
Don't think
and then
Jake didn't
she
try
gives
this.
him mouth to mouth, and he's all on board with it. And then it ends up, if you watch the whole movie, even at the end when they're telling you where everybody went, he ended up marrying her.
Yeah, I mean,
and having 9 kids.
This is a
He
complete,
could field his own baseball
yeah,
team.
this is a complete adolescent fantasy.
Right.
Yes.
Even before the marriage at the very end. He's at the fence. He's barred from the pool because she's so pissed at him, but yet he waves, and then she smiles back
Right.
at him, and she loves it.
Like, he's so cute.
Cool.
I want to be mad, but he's so
Right.
cute.
In real life, she would have sent over her Marine Corps boyfriend.
Right.
Who would have beat the crap out of the kid.
this chick?
Yeah.
That was always
No.
unsettling to me.
What?
She just looks a lot older than.
Yeah.
Way older.
Yeah. I mean.
And
It was like-
you have a?
It was like a Saltalamacchio marriage.
Yes, this is the planted the early seeds to my obsession
Yeah,
with the older woman.
you're more into the older woman for sure, right? Which is safer. It's much safer to be into that.
Now, certainly we have to mention The Beast.
We have to mention the Beast, but I want to mention watching it with my girls.
Yeah?
So it's different when you got a couple of little boys there that are all raging hormonally or something. But
Dude, a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old are
I don't
not
know.
raging
I don't know.
hormonally.
Jake, look at Jake. Jake was 8. Okay, but my girls, so they enjoyed this, but at the end of it, had questions for me when they heard this is the kids taunting each other back and forth. I guess they're taunting with a local team that has a uniform and
right.
everything like that.
Yeah, it's easy when you play with a bunch of rejects and fat kids, Rodriguez.
Shut your mouth, Phillips.
What'd you say, crap face? I said you shouldn't even be allowed to touch a baseball. Except for Rodriguez, you're all an insult to the game. Come on! We'll take you on right here, right now! Come on! Right now! You play on a real diamond, Porter. You ain't good enough to lick the dirt off our cleats. Watch it, jerk. Shut up, idiot. Moron! Scab eater. Butt sniffer. Pus licker. Fart smeller.
By the way, the kids are way into it at this point. They're loving this scene, and I'm sure 8-year-old
They
Jake.
want you to rewind it.
You eat dog crap for breakfast, geek. You mix your weeds with your mama's toe jam. Yeah! You bob for apples in the toilet, and you like it. You play ball like a girl. What did you say? You heard me. Tomorrow. Noon. At our field. Get the buffalo butt breath. Count on it, pee-drinking crap face. Yeah! Let's go!
So my 2 little girls were very perplexed as to, so the worst thing you can ever say about someone is they're like a girl? As you know, I'm trying to
Probably
live
better
in
that
this...
they find out at some point.
As my older girl considers herself a pretty good athlete, and yesterday told me she's like a boy, but she has girl parts.
Oh, wow.
She was a bit offended by that. She thinks smelling a fart would be worse than playing like a girl. But
well,
I had
buddy.
to tell her that it wasn't. Being a girl's the worst.
Yep.
Let's see. The
I don't know
4th of July night game seemed unrealistic to me.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
So they
Those are
play
hell
an
of
annual
fireworks,
game
yeah.
on 4th of July because fireworks are just going off for hours.
They light up the sky.
That you could just play a game.
How about the worst chase scene since Point Break?
Oh, I love that chase scene. And I love the Point Break chase scene.
What did you like, Donovan?
What didn't you like about the chase
The
scene?
chase scene? Come on, man. Just the cake and all. Everything was just too. That dog would have caught him in the. I don't care what kind of jet Benny is. The dog would have caught him within the first 10 steps.
So the dog is the beast.
The beast.
But it's I thought it was nice. It was played out realistically, like the way these kids have built up this legend of the beast. They think it's bigger than it is, and they think it's this.
Think he has a cache of 100 baseballs underneath the house?
It was just so funny when they tried to slingshot the baseball over the fence, and the beast, he looked like a horse.
Like, what do you
jump
think-
up and catch it in his mouth.
What do you think the isolated power of somebody like Ham is if you were to go to Fangraphs? I mean, really seemed to have good power for a little kid, right?
Or he made it to AAA.
Yeah.
He watched the in there before becoming a pro wrestler.
The tobacco thing was realistic because as a little kid, well, here's just quickly, it's the only other time they say "Killing Me Smalls" as well.
Ah, crap! I almost forgot!
They went to the fair.
Yeah, my favorite part.
Shaw! I was saving it for a good time!
What is it?
Big Chief! The best!
Big pouch like
Smalls?
Redman.
I suppose you don't even know who the babe is either! It's plugged! What? Chewing tobacco? Backing, man.
What do you do with it?
You're killing me, Smalls! Chew it, of course!
Do?
Yes! Yeah, sure, man. All the pros do. Yeah. Gives you tons of energy, huh?
Let's dip! Let's dip!
That was realistic because you probably thought that as well when
Oh,
your
my
young
gosh.
Bob took a chew and then he also threw up.
Like, I know our kids are going to ignore everything we say, but they really need to listen about the chew. We'll spare them the one day where they're really, really sick.
Are you going to make them
it's just-
smoke like 10 cigarettes if you catch
No,
them
but
smoking one?
it's just not like you think it is on TV. I mean, watching baseball does make you think that tobacco is super awesome.
It really does, and I can't believe I haven't done it. But I never tried it.
Which is the genius of Big League Chew, because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Big League Chew tastes like what you think as a kid tobacco must be like. Like, that's your actual vision, right?
Like the grape flavor?
Couldn't play without it, but you spit out all the good juice.
Right.
And it was gross.
Sunflower seeds suck too. But I guess it's not going to give you cancer and stuff.
You don't have the odd backstory of James Earl Jones.
Of course, that's the
audio, do
last
you?
one I have.
Okay.
Because, so James Earl Jones, he's the mean guy that owns the dog, but of course the dog ends up being nice. He ends up being nice. But the legend of those people had these kids just scared to even approach them.
In my neighborhood, we had an old man just like that too. That everybody was scared of.
Was he black?
He did not hit the. No, he was old and white.
Okay,
He did
so
not hit the ball into his backyard.
Yeah, this is an odd story. So apparently, he's got pictures of him with Babe Ruth, and he actually knew Babe Ruth, called him George. But an couple of interesting things here. One on how he becomes blind, and then the other on why he never played with Babe Ruth. Here you go.
You knew Babe Ruth?
George? I sure did. He knew me. He was almost as great a hitter as I was. I would have broken his record too, but
You went blind.
yep. I used to crowd the plate so that strike zone almost disappeared. Pitchers hate that. That's the way I played. 100% all the time. Baseball was life. And I was good at it. Real good. And then, one day, a high fast went and pow, the lights went out.
So a fastball made him blind.
Yeah, he got hit in the head with a
hit him in the head
baseball
because he crowded the plate.
and the lights went out, like Fonzie hitting the...
Like both eyes.
Yeah, hit him in that sweet spot.
The sweet spot that controls eyesight for both eyes.
That both of them.
Okay.
why not?
That's number one.
I think if I
so
was
number
Squints,
two
I
is
might have followed up if I was Squints with a.
Squints wasn't in there.
Oh yeah,
it
It's
was
not the
just
way I thought
Smalls
he-
and Benny.
all right.
so number two though.
It's a more believable way than I
Wait
thought
a
it
minute.
would.
Yeah, there's another way you can go blind, Bob. With that SI
Because
swimsuit
my
issue.
mom tells me.
I'll believe that one.
Now,
Or
Smalls,
you can
this is what happened to
at
me.
least need Tommy John after that.
Don't let what happened to me happen to you.
But okay, sir, I'm raising my hand, but you can't see me because you're blind. Let me just say audibly then.
Question.
My question is: so you didn't break the Babe's record because you were blind, or what about the little thing about?
Well, he's blind. He doesn't know.
being
Black. That should have been the question.
I'm
Because you're
But
black.
he's blind. He doesn't know that.
He
They
doesn't
didn't
know
really
he's
have a
black.
rule
He's
against
He's like
blind.
Chappelle.
Right. He doesn't know.
Who's black?
Get him! They didn't really have a rule against blind people playing.
Right.
He's taking those pictures with that picture they had with Babe Ruth. It's like, okay, really? There's no way. That's the first thing I thought about. So he's in the 20s, just smiling and saying,
Sure.
he should have had a tuxedo on.
Sir.
With a napkin over his arm.
Well, it was a wonderful Dennis Leary vehicle.
Good movie. Good
Yeah, I'll
kid
go-
movie.
He's a mean stepdad.
I'll go if you have a kid.
I don't think-
Otherwise, this is not a movie that you watch.
Like I
without
said a
kid.
couple weeks ago,
Tom.
it's a good kid movie. I don't know that it needs a couple S-bombs in it, to be honest with you. Not to be the prude parent that doesn't need a 6-year-old.
Yeah, but why? Yeah, why?
Like, it was unnecessary. It
What
was
was
like
it?
they
What
wanted to
was it?
show how
There was two S's.
They
two
wanted to be
S
true to
words.
life.
they wanted to show how gritty it was. That.
But if you just take those
8-year-old
out,
kids.
is the problem that it becomes G and they can't market a G? So
was
you need
one,
like one S word. To
was
make
one
it
of the
PG?
S's when the dog chased Benny?
No, I think Benny was just casually telling a story, and he dropped it in there.
Okay.
Like, if you took out the S-bombs, just throw in a little more Wendy Peppercorn, and you can keep your rating up. Keep it PG.
Yeah, maybe just let one of them pop out.
So there's the Sandlot, A- or A+ or whatever.
A-?
Do you want to give it an F?
No, not an F. That's
Right.
crazy.
It might have been because they thought I'd be offended if they panned it, or maybe that's actually just a pretty solid kids movie, but I think that review went surprisingly well relative to how some of the other ones have gone, actually. Now, in keeping our movie buzz going, we go now to Donovan and 1920s reporter guy meeting Seth Rogen.
Wednesday evening, there was a red carpet event at North Park Mall. It was for the movie This Is the End, starring Seth Rogen.
What's that about?
Stuff.
It's a bunch of Hollywood types having a big party, and all of a sudden, an apocalyptic end of the world event happens all around them.
Boy, we are really banging that apocalypse drum at the movies these days, aren't we?
It's a huge buddy movie, right?
Mm-hmm. It's a big ensemble cast.
Yes, it is. So they had Seth Rogen and director
Evan Goldberg.
Yeah, him. They were at North Park walking the red carpet because they premiered the movie that night at North Park, previewed it. So they had the red carpet with everyone's name on the bottom. That's where you stand because you signed up to go get a few questions with Seth Rogen, and they had the things on the ground, and the ticket is dead last on the red carpet.
So there's a class system?
I guess.
Like,
yeah, I
remember
think
when
so.
we went?
Yeah.
This has happened in sporting events or whatever. When we were in Colorado for the Western Conference Finals many, many years ago, the newspapers get to sit really close. They get the best seats because newspapers are so important. Or at least this was 10 years ago.
Well, they're going to be really big.
And then the TV guys, I guess maybe they were even first. But who was the guy? He's a national radio guy, and he was he's actually a national TV guy, but he was pissed. He was sitting with the radio guys.
Wasn't it Van Earl Wright?
Van Earl Wright was absolutely beside himself that we were like right next to him, and he did not want to sit. He just felt sitting by the radio guys. So
I wonder where Van Earl
radio
Wright
guys
is.
are always the last.
We're in
we
steerage.
And then you take AM radio guys,
Oh, my
and
God.
now you're definitely at the end.
So you got Craddock, Big Al's up there, and
Oh yeah,
we are at the end of the red carpet. Once he speaks to us, he will go upstairs and see the movie and all the
Have
festivities.
they not heard
will
about
start.
AM radio's comeback?
So we get there around 5 o'clock.
We're planning a big 2014.
And Seth gets there around 6-ish or something like that. So he has to go through the whole line before he gets to us, which takes a while. And now they tell you that you have a few questions for him, and they'll tap you on the shoulder and tell you to wrap it up. But everyone before us is just blowing through the stop sign. They don't care. They get the tap on the shoulder, tell him to wrap it up. It's behind Seth Rogen. They ask him another question. He answers. They don't care.
Right. Yeah, there was one TV crew that started their interview on their side of the red car on the velvet rope, and then they get to cross over the velvet rope and stand right by the backdrop and do another interview. It was all kinds of craziness going on.
Yeah, and you could just see it all happening in front of you. So they get to the end, and one of his guys walks up to Tom and I and says, "We're going to have to put you two together because I guess they're running out of time." And I said, "Well, we are together, so don't worry about that." And he's like, "Okay."
Getting up in his grill, are you?
I was just.
He didn't know who he was.
I was
messing
getting
with.
a little upset that everyone's blowing through the stop sign, and then they're going to tell us, "Well, you have one question." That's not right. You put us at the end. We're going to get ours in. So, next to us is K-Love.
Yeah,
K-Love and KVIL. They have.
He opened his jacket, and you see the piece.
They have two girls there in tiaras.
Is that Kramer and Twitch?
And like dresses, and one has a boa.
Who?
Obviously, it's K-Love. And
K-Love is Karen from Jody Dean in the Morning Team is there, and then Julie.
Oh, Julie
is
Fisk.
there. Yeah, she's with
so
the
they're
Tony
doing
Zaza
this
now.
bit because they have tiaras.
Sean knows who they are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys have been around forever.
1 foot in the bunker.
Julie Fisk does traffic on 1080, right?
Yeah.
Are you stalking traffic girls?
Totes.
All right.
So they're next to us.
I'm for that.
I'm also on radio.
And they have this bit where they're, trying to
drive in traffic every day,
touch all on them and stuff.
Yeah, but the tiaras were really.
Yeah, it was crazy. So they give them the wrap up sign, and they just totally ignore it. They go about 2 extra minutes from what they're trying to do.
So the 1920s reporter guy shakes his head at that.
Yeah, he's not happy. So
Stupid bit.
1920s reporter guy standing right there. The girls are done.
Okay.
Now it's time for the very last. And they told him another thing. Don't ask him about sports. So when they have our name at the bottom, it has KTCKAM Sports.
Yeah,
so he can look down and see.
Don't ask him about sports.
We were talking to some people beforehand, and they said
He gets really mad.
Yeah, the handlers told him that
he hates the
they weren't gonna go to any sports stations, and they didn't want any sports questions. So
and now there's a big sports thing on our placard on the ground.
Yeah,
Seth, NHL realignment.
Your thoughts?
What do you think about Detroit going east?
So now the handlers are pretty upset because everyone's just blowing through the stop sign. They're ready to get the movie going because it's after the time it's supposed to start.
Oh.
And now they're going to rush Scoops and I, but we get ours in. So here we go. Right after the girls in the tiaras and dresses try to, do everything great. Here's Scoops.
So mad at them.
Oh my God.
All right, well, let's get this off.
I like that one.
Let's get this off of mute. There we go. All right, here's Scoops.
Seth, Evan, Scoops Callahan from the Ticket Boys. Welcome to Dallas.
Hello there. You got a lot of energy there. Scoops Callahan?
That's right,
Is
Seth.
that your birth name?
It is. I've come all the way from the 20s to talk to you boys.
Good. Perfect, Scoops.
Tell me about this brand new moving picture show. This is the end. The flacks are barking that it's just as good as Call It the Cuckoo, Duck Soup, and Double Whoopee because this one's talkie.
Well, Duck Soup's a classic. Duck Soup is a classic.
It's only been out a couple of years. But,
It's no horse feathers, but it's a good one. We have color in this film and talking. We let women act in this movie, and we even paid them for it.
Shocking.
So it's quite shocking on many levels. Yes.
Now tell me about your high-fluting life in La La Land. I hear you boys are cruising down Route 66 at 40 miles an hour in your brand new Model A's.
We are.
And smoking and blowing the stick in your...
You're falling apart.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Hey, don't stop now.
Your Bammy and
I never want to know what your real voice sounds exactly.
Your Bammy, your Mooka, and your Bobo Bush.
Yes, we are banging our Bobo
Lots
Bush.
of Bobo Bush.
Yes, I banged the Bobo Bush just earlier today.
Now, does it surprise you that Craig Robinson is my favorite out of this whole?
I didn't want to assume that, but exactly, it could have been Kevin. Yeah.
Jonah Hill, James Franco, Craig Robinson. You have to kill one, marry one, and F one. Go.
Oh man.
Wait, Jonah, Craig, and who? Craig Robinson and James Franco.
You
sleep with Franco.
You sleep with Franco,
That's a no-brainer.
obviously. You probably marry Jonah because he's a sweetheart.
He's a sweetheart,
and you just have to kill Craig and probably eat him
You have
because
to kill the brother.
yeah, exactly.
Just like a movie, huh? You have to kill the brother.
Craig, I don't want to ruin anything, but he does not die early in the movie. He lasts quite a while.
Kevin he wouldn't
We
die
specifically promised Kevin he wouldn't be the first to go.
Last thing, could you identify
Wow.
yourself and say, I never listened to Bob and Dan on the ticket?
I'm Seth Rogen, and I never listen to Bob and Dan on the ticket. For real, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
So there you go.
Now, in the minute and a half you were talking to him, now Tom is kind of
Yeah, where'd Tom go?
looking at his
I'm
feet
just-
there,
yeah,
he's
I
shuffling
know
his
where to go.
papers.
Hop back in his
That
time
whole,
machine.
That whole thing is 2 minutes. So Tom had the first minute, I had the last.
Was that negotiated?
Yeah, of course, because you should have seen Scoops practicing his
Oh my gosh,
questions
that
for
was the most
an
extensive
hour and a
Scoops
half.
I've ever heard.
Yeah, did you?
It's pretty long.
Were you reading that?
No, did it sound like I was reading it? No.
No, but if you know the process, if you know Tom's creative process.
No, I've got like an outline of how I want with all the.
There's a lot
verbiage.
of terms in there.
He
and
practiced that thing from 5 o'clock until Seth was right beside the girls in the tiaras.
And I
That's
told
how long he
Donovan
practiced.
I was going to butcher it, and I was right. Donovan was being a good teammate. He's like, no, you'll be great.
you're
You'll
good.
be great.
You're
You'll be
good. Don't
great."
worry about it.
Not so much.
You want to hear Scoops again?
I do.
All right.
Seth, Evan, Scoops Callahan from the Ticket Boys. Welcome to Dallas.
Hello there. You got a lot of energy there. Scoops Callahan?
That's right,
Is
Seth.
that your birth name?
It is. I've come all the way from the 20s to talk to you boys.
Good. Perfect, Scoops.
Tell me about this brand new moving picture show, This Is the End. The flacks are barking that it's just as good as Call of the Cuckoo, Duck Soup, and Double Whoopee because this one's talky.
Duck Soup's a classic.
Duck Soup is a classic.
See, he's nailing it so far.
A couple of years, but,
It's no horse feathers, but it's a good one. We have color in this film and talking. We let women act in this movie, and we even paid them for it. So it's quite shocking on many levels. Yes.
Now tell me about your high-fluting life in La La Land. I hear you boys are cruising down Route 66 at 40 miles an hour in your brand new Model A's.
We are.
And smoking and blowing the stick in your...
You're keeping it up. You're doing a good job. Hey, don't stop now.
Your Bammy and
I never want to know what your real voice
Yeah,
sounds
exactly.
your Bammy, your Mooka, and your Bobo Bush.
Yes, we are banging our Bobo
Lots
Bush.
of Bobo Bush.
Yes, I banged the Bobo Bush just earlier today.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I almost
Good
prefer
times.
red carpet scoops over press conference scoops. It's not as tense. It's just different in that they're standing there with you and there's no place to go. And
Right.
it's 1-to-1.
And Scoops has one volume, and
Yeah.
that's
Right.
10. So once Scoops started, and everyone who really did their thing and kind of went upstairs to see the movie, and they had a big crowd around waiting just to see him walk the red carpet. Everyone is just looking and laughing at Scoops. Scoops is at 10 the whole time, screaming, and everyone could hear it.
And do we need
Why
to
are you yelling? You're a foot from me.
do we need to analyze the Seth Rogen laugh?
Oh my gosh, I was thinking of stringing it together.
That would be awesome. That's
Probably
his
have 30
genuine
seconds
laugh.
of-
That's no put-on laugh.
What
That
sort
is
of-
genuine.
There's THC in his system.
What sort of substances have got us there?
Oh, listen to when the other guy says lots of.
I know.
He was really. Here it is.
Bobo Bush.
Yes, we are banging our Bobo
Lots
Bush.
of Bobo Bush.
Yeah.
So how was the movie? What's it like?
Oh, we didn't go see it.
Oh,
We had places to go. He had to go play basketball and
Media.
Huh?
You went to the media event.
Well,
you had a rare opportunity to
yes.
see this
And why
before
do you say
anyone
he
else.
has to go play
He had to go
basketball?
play
basketball.
Yeah, that's
It's
racist.
ticket basketball. No,
He
it's
might have had
not.
to go play hockey.
He had to go. Yeah.
A little croquet.
Well,
And I
you
had
wanna
to go to the library and run a Fortune 500 company. We were very busy.
I'm with Bob on Red Carpet Scoops being my favorite. Listening back to that, he goes silent for like over a minute and then just pops back in with the thank you champ at the end. Brilliant. We go now to a trip into Dan's world, which this week features two of the most oft-discussed topics in said world, Hitler and parenting.
All right. Number one, I just mentioned this only because it's been tweeted to me literally a million times.
Tim Duncan has arms.
It's not that. It's not girl falling off pole. The last thing that got you that excited.
Overdone.
The JCPenney online or the billboard ad.
What are they doing there?
Have you seen this?
Yes, and what's going on? Like, I don't know enough about the ad.
They put a billboard ad for their new teapot or kettle over Interstate 405 in California.
Okay.
And you've seen the picture. Many customers complained. Now, first of all, you're driving along, you look up, you see it. Well, number one, their complaint is it looks like Hitler, and it does. Here's a picture. Maybe if you want to retweet it. You haven't seen it? So you don't get this sent to you 1,000 times?
I haven't seen this at all.
I think if you would just search Hitler teapot, you would find it.
It's like South Park Hitler.
It looks exactly like Hitler.
Like, what are they
doing?
doing?
The whole point is, if you're driving along and you look up and see that,
and he's even got his little right arm up.
Well, I don't know if I would notice that drop. Well, I don't think I would.
But let's say you thought it looked like Hitler.
Okay.
Do you then go home and make a call to JCPenney? Like,
no, I laugh.
calling
Who
and
cares?
complaining that it looks like Hitler.
That's funny.
What is the first time I've seen
What are you
this?
supposed to do?
Oh man, that's genius.
It looks exceptionally like Hitler.
Oh yeah.
Yes, no teapot has ever looked more like Hitler than this teapot. On the scale of teapots looking like World War II dictators.
I'm reading a story about it that they're going to probably take that billboard down
quickly.
Oh, come on. Are they going to stop selling the teapot?
Okay, what is the teapot supposed to look like, Dan? Because why does it have his exact haircut, too?
It's like the handle. That's a thick part of the handle to hold on to.
No, the hair, not the little saluting arm.
No,
that's
that's
the
the
handle.
handle.
Oh,
You're
it
not
is?
going to grab
The
it by the
saluting arm
hand.
is where you pour the water out of.
Okay, all right. Now I see it.
His
Okay.
hair is for your comfort.
Well, anyway,
Man.
let me just read the.
Boy, the design engineers on this teapot. need a
Someone had
raise.
to know, and they're just like, they're going to sell it.
Please let it be made in Germany. Please.
Reading the story, though, they just talks about a string of customers complained it looks remarkably like Hitler. They want to promote that this teapot is available exclusively in JCPenney stores.
Right.
And then the last paragraph or last sentence here says, but rather than being tempted into buying new kitchen equipment, commuters driving along the route near Culver City found themselves instantly reminded of the Nazi leader, Adolf Hitler. So
it's illegal to sell that teapot in
not
Germany.
tempted into buying a teapot as much as I am thinking about Hitler. And I need to call JCPenney and complain.
Doesn't it remind you of Naked Gun, where everywhere you look, you're reminded of her? That Leslie Nielsen.
Well, there you go.
I can't take my eyes off this thing, man.
That's awesome.
You ever see the house that looks like Hitler?
No.
Mark that.
The house that looks like Hitler.
That's an old one. I shouldn't even have brought it up.
I kind of want this teapot.
Did you ever hear this Hitler fact?
Makes me
Well,
want to buy
search
one.
it. See if you can actually buy that teapot, and let's get it in line.
Yeah,
Or,
I will.
Get it online.
Maybe we could have an underground market for these things once they're pulled off the shelves at JCPenney. BobandDan.com.
You know, we need to make some money on that website eventually, and this may be the way.
Do we even have a website?
Teapots and kettles, JCPenney. Let's search.
All right, so I think I previewed this Friday before we left that was thinking about going to Six Flags on Memorial Day weekend and was told by everybody, don't go, it's going to be packed.
You know, I made a similar decision based on the don't go, it's going to be packed. I didn't go to Six Flags. We strongly considered the George Bush Presidential Library and then thought that would be a horrible idea on a holiday weekend, so we opted out.
Wouldn't that be like a horrible idea just any time? Are you thinking of taking your kids there? Like, I can't imagine.
No, me and my brother-in-law, and
okay.
I'm told it has all sorts of artifacts you'd be really interested in.
Go pick up some chicks.
It's not like an actual library with like books and Boy's Life and
Yeah, I just
the newspapers.
that's not even on my list of places I think I might be going anytime ever. But I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll run out of things. Yeah, the Pro Museum. I want to go to that park.
Oh, I want to do that
Amazing.
too.
There's a lot of other things I want to do in life. I can't even believe you mentioned
Dude,
the George Bush Library.
It's got a ton of 9/11 artifacts and the post 9/11 stuff. I mean,
I'm against 9/11, Bob.
There's a lot of punchlines, I'm sure, about the post 9/11 investigations, but it's all there for you to observe. I would think that's a rather big part of your life, history-wise, that you'd be interested in.
Well, I just
maybe I have you read wrong, and you're waiting for the Hitler Museum to open up in Dallas.
I did not, though, heed the advice of many who said it'll be packed. I thought, you know what? Everybody's thinking that.
So they won't go.
Everybody thinks it's going to be packed, and they're probably all going to go to the George Bush Presidential Library instead.
Right.
I'm going to go to Six Flags. So, and Mom is in town, Grandma, right? My mom. And so I figured, all right, we'll go to Six Flags. Now, wife came down with the old headache. So she did not go to Six Flags.
Wow.
And that may be the old mother-in-law I've been spending every day, all day while you're at work with mother-in-law.
It's time for me to get some time, yes.
Boy, I'm sorry. Your wife is a saint, but opting out of this one, that might be a violation.
It's fine by me.
Sometimes you just have to tough it out.
It's fine by me.
It's not time to pull the headache card when we're taking the kids to Six Flags on Memorial Day weekend. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not against not spending time with my wife. That's all fine. We've become very...
See, I turn into Chevy Chase, and we're going to Wally World. We're going to have the happiest time.
Well, first of all, it was packed. I think it was Rich Phillips Lookalike Day.
Was it
or
similar clientele to the Petty Theft Show?
No.
Or in the
Petty Theft Show
in the
is
Venn
much,
diagram are the
much,
two circles
older.
off to the side, not touching.
Rich Phillips lookalike. You get in for half price, huh?
They sound like Daffy Duck.
But I have not been to Six Flags since I was a kid, since I was in high school. And I've never taken my kids to Six Flags. They're 10 and 8.
What's that daily admission these days? 50, let me guess, 58.
You know what? I don't know exactly. I went online. You get a little discount there. It's 50 or so. Something around $50.
Little comp, huh?
No comp.
Did you make a special phone call, did you?
Absolutely not.
All right.
But I
Mr.
did make...
Comp over here talking about you.
Oh, yeah. So I did make a phone call, though. Killer works there as a part-time engineer, right? Or he does, like, sound or something for their shows. So I called Killer for any killer advice. You want to tell me the secret parking at Six Flags, or tell me something that you can tell me?
Oh.
And he said to me...
Let me guess, you got nothing.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
And horrible that you would say that about our good friend Killer. Killer told me one thing. He said, the one thing I'll tell you is, when you walk in, to the left, you need to get a flash pass. And I'm like, what is that?
Yes.
No doubt about it.
It's a really weird element to the entire experience.
Brilliant!
It just feels weird, right?
I had never heard of it in my life.
Oh.
What a flash pass is.
Welcome to Affluence.
Have you used the flash pass? The flash pass is you get to cut in line.
I do, but reluctantly.
And
I've used it and it felt weird the whole day. I don't think I enjoyed it.
Okay, well then let's talk this out, because I had that same feeling of guilt and looking down as I walked by this. So here's the thing.
Try to tell your kids to wipe that smile off their face when they're walking by
They're
normal
pointing
people.
They'll be thrusting as they walk through.
Well, here's the thing. A flash pass costs there's 3 levels now. Now you can get a regular flash pass for like $50, and that lets you you get a little handheld thing. It's like when you get those things that vibrate at the restaurant to tell you that your food's ready.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it vibrates, but then there's a little video screen on there that tells you, let's say Pandemonium, because Pandemonium and Texas Giant are the ones we went on multiple times. It'll vibrate and say, or you sign up, you say, I want to reserve it for this time. Well, if you get the $50 level, you can reserve it for however long the line is estimated at. The line is estimated at an hour long.
Okay.
I can hit Pandemonium, and it will say, in 1 hour, I can go on it. So I don't have to wait in that line, but I can't go on it until the line cycles through. Then you can have a gold level for $70, and I think it's somewhat similar, but you get on a little quicker.
70 more or 70? Like compared to 50 to get in?
No, 50 is regular.
Okay.
Now, first of all, you pay to get in the park $50. Now you're in the park.
Uh-huh.
Now it's another 50 if you want the flash pack.
Not a person, but just once. You just get one?
No.
A person.
Per person.
Okay.
Whoa.
Or 70 per person, or the platinum, which is $95 per person. And what you can do there is you can get on in like 5 or 10 minutes. You don't have to wait in line. You don't have to wait till the line cycles through. The only downside, if there's any downfall to this thing, besides the guilt, is that you can only reserve one roller coaster at a time. So you can't just have your name on 5 waiting lists. You can one at a time. But that's not a down at all.
Now, do
right?
you feel like it's a very rare purchase, or do most people that are going to go to Six Flags just save an extra month and
here's what Killer said.
Buy these?
I think Killer said this, but I say this now if he didn't. So if you can go to Six Flags 3 times in a year, or you can go once and buy a flash pass, why would you not just go once? Like, dude, it's an incredible.
It's awesome.
It made me feel like I'm Tom Cruise. I rented out Disney World for my kids.
You didn't feel like half the people had these. You felt like you were exclusively.
I don't.
There's a mini little line at the Flash Pass,
but not nearly. Yeah, it's what,
dude.
5% of the people will.
These people are waiting in line for over an hour,
Yeah.
maybe 2 hours.
Yeah,
they're hot.
That was
they're
all
sticky.
part of the experience. Is the 2.5-hour ride for the new roller coaster?
Yes, it was part of the
up.
experience, but it sucked.
No,
like
it did.
In retrospect,
it did, but
and this wasn't about. Now you got your kids and you're trying to teach them the world, and
so you had a crowd of how many?
Me and my 2 kids and Grandma.
And 95 apiece, huh?
At 95 apiece, and Grandma didn't even go on anything, and I'm just like,
man, Six Flags must be doing really well.
So you bought Grandma one, even though she didn't get on the rides.
She went on a couple of rides.
Okay,
but she's had heart problems and she's all old and stuff, so.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't.
They got a little thing that says don't
so
go on
man,
this ride if you're old.
This trip costs you about $800, right?
No, $500 probably.
Well, you get the $95 each. That's $400. You get $50 to get in. I mean, okay, $380.
Oh, okay, yeah, $50. Well, maybe it was $40. Okay, it was a high price day for sure.
I didn't know the 95 in addition to the 50. I'm sorry. So it's $150 a person to do this.
Right, and that's just getting in and riding. And
Basically.
that, not the food and all that. That's what I'm saying. That's an $800 day.
Dude, I can't. I don't care how much money is
It
available.
is an exceptionally high dollar day.
So
I think I would use.
But we haven't been
right?
there ever in 10 years, and I'm going to tell you
worth
what.
it.
That Flash Pass was the most worth it thing I have ever
No
used
doubt.
in my life. Despite the fact that you feel bad about it.
No, I just think
you feel bad for 3 seconds per ride as your head is down, you're walking past this line that's been standing there for 2 hours.
And they're all sweaty.
But like I said, if you could go to Six Flags 3 times in a year, or you go once, or if you can go 3 times over 3 years, or you go once every 3 years, I'd go once every 3 years and buy this Flash
And use
Pass.
that and get.
I'd do it again because you can.
You ride everything.
How long were you there?
Let's see. I woke up at noon. We rolled out
You don't
about
always
2.
have to do that.
I got there at 2:30, and we left at 9:30.
Oh wow, good job, Dad.
We stayed quite some time.
I had you at about the 3-hour visit window.
No, I had a great time. We didn't eat. We were running on it. I loved it. I mean, I rode that Texas Giant as much as they did. I rode everything with them.
And your kids are
It was
tall,
a lot of fun.
tall
It was a
enough to
day.
do everything?
Yeah, they are now.
Okay.
It was a day, at Six Flags garbage. They didn't even give me free tickets, but the family fun and all that, it was great. I was wondering why I hadn't been there in 10 years. It was awesome.
So you didn't notice anybody trying to pull the Disney scandal, this Disney scam that's been going on?
What's that?
Rich families hiring, and I swear to God, this has been going on, hiring handicapped people so they don't have to pay the exorbitant prices of their Zap Pass or whatever, their Fast Pass. so they could cut in line with the handicapped folks. And they say, well, we're all just one little group.
So you're
So
saving
they
money.
They hire handicapped people.
Where
so
do
they
you
can cut in
hire a
line.
handicapped person?
I'm not sure where they find them at.
Craigslist.
But rich people have their ways.
Why don't
Yeah,
you
maybe
just,
it is.
why don't you just stand around the handicapped parking and then say, hey.
Maybe.
It's like
How
going
about I'll
places
pay
for
for
your
your
ticket. It's like going places with Norm.
Right.
We've all benefited. We're out at the stadium. We're right by the door, right?
We would never use a handicapped
No one,
person.
no one complained.
That's right, Dodger Stadium, man.
So you've done it. So you've bought the Fast Pass. Where'd you buy it?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
I'm aware of it because I know I haven't been to one. I don't think since my kids have been old enough.
It's awesome.
Especially on a day like that.
Have you
so
used it, Tom?
totally
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah, Universal Studios in L.A. I did that. It's just, you can ride everything.
Was Jim Morrison once there?
Me and Jim were hanging out. Yeah.
Again.
Yes.
Spend the money and go every year.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Or go once every 3 years and ride anything
worth it.
you want
I don't see
right
why
away.
I don't see why you feel bad. You're the one shelling out $400 extra. I wouldn't feel bad at all.
1%. That's why you feel bad.
What?
Wouldn't bother me a bit.
You just feel weird.
I'd tape it around my neck like Flavor Flav, like
and
like
it
the
wasn't
clock.
it wasn't just people with monocles and top hats walking through the
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean,
I know.
I'm just saying it was anybody.
That's why I wouldn't
Like
feel
on
bad
the
about
on
it.
the Titanic.
It's just I grew up a cheapskate, and that stays with you. If you get a good job in life, you probably end up making a little more money than you ever anticipated, but you remain cheap. And that's why I do have a golf course rule that no matter, it's not about the money, it's about the money. You get what I'm saying? It's not about do you have it, it's about I'm not going to give you more than $60 to walk on your grass for 4 hours.
Well, but here's and I hear what you're saying.
Like people pay
And I've always thought I
$200
would
to
no
play
better-
golf, and it sounds ridiculous. And you know why? Because it is ridiculous.
Like I've wondered if we made Marquise Daniels money, would you buy a Rolex? And I've always said no. That it's a piece of time, and then that Rolex, you're only wearing it to show people that
Like
you
C.J.
can.
Wilson once said, you only got one butt. You can't drive more than one sports car at a time.
Yeah, but he owns 10 of them,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I don't. Yeah, probably.
But if everybody
He
you're
probably
hanging
violated
around
it.
My
is
point
wearing
is-
But I liked what he
Rolex-
said.
And
He
what
does
I,
only have
uh,
one butt. You
and-
can't buy more than one.
And I'm just saying, you have to put if you want to say golf course, okay, there are other golf courses that are similar yet $100 less, and you want to make that decision to not go.
Oh, so
that's fine. When you're at an amusement park,
yeah.
Time is
that's
everything.
Yeah, you're right.
You're paying for your fun and your
No, we're-
entertainment.
Because if you're there for 7 hours,
I never go to concerts. So if I go to one concert every few years, which is probably the rate, I buy the best seats.
Right.
So I'm not sitting way in the back. If I went to 10 concerts a year, maybe you'd have to then budget your
because
money into
if
that.
you're at this the park and you're there for 7 hours and you didn't have this flash pass,
Yeah.
you're riding 2
7
rides.
rides?
No, we're-
yeah, you're sitting in line
6
for a
rides
couple
in
hours.
7 hours?
Right.
I might need to do this because we're considering Disneyland for vacation, and we probably need to do that.
Norm?
What? Taking Norm?
Yeah.
No, we will not be taking Norm on our family vacation. But
Norm will get you anywhere,
if-
man.
the only reason you go to Disney on vacation is to try to create that memory that they'll reference 20 years from now. That remember when we went to Disneyland,
Yeah.
and if you're in line,
They're going to remember
sweating and
Saturday,
miserable.
or when did I go?
Yeah.
Sunday? Saturday forever. Sunday. Oh, it's Sunday because we have Monday off.
Check with them in a month and see if they remember it. And if they do, I'm going to do it.
But but you value what you value, and you pay for, like, growing up, you had the same parents I did in that never cable. Don't pay for that. We get TV for free. I'm never paying for cable. And I always thought, as I'm sitting there, wait, what is it? Like $25, $30 is the cable bill? You're telling me we can't afford that?
Think of the family time
Like-
we'll have watching TV.
Like,
All right.
and you vowed you're going to have all the channels you can.
It will be yours. Oh, yes. It will be yours. It's 2:10. That's awesome, dude. Way to go. Took your kids to Six Flags.
Flash Pass. Remember it.
That's the way to go.
The killer.
Hurricane Harbor next?
I don't know. I'm a little against the floating Band-Aid, but
Just a tiny
And
little
the almond joy.
tiny little blood spot there.
Dan is probably right for having reservations about the sanitation quality at water parks like Hurricane Harbor, but sometimes hearing him say stuff like that makes me really happy. I grew up with parents that weren't concerned about germs at all. I will probably die young because of that, but at least I've ridden Geronimo several times. Now, this next segment could probably also be called Dan's World because he's such a huge fan of this guy, as am I, as I hope everyone is. It is an in-studio visit from the great Anthony Jeselnik.
All right, in studio, very excited. One of our heroes, Anthony Jeselnik, is in studio. Jeselnik, Tom.
No.
He's been writing your name with a Z for
Oh,
quite
really?
some time to us, our producer.
I get that.
It bothers me to no end.
Thank you.
To see you treated like this.
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah. But you must get it all the time.
I do.
Is
It's getting better.
Do you feel like the pronunciation, though, is clearly S?
It's clearly S. I mean, it should be. I remember I would always get mad when people say Jeselnik.
Mad?
But not mad, but I would get like a little annoyed.
Uh-huh.
And then my grandmother once was like, it can be both ways. I was like, why didn't someone tell me that earlier? I kind of just stick to my guns on Jeselnik now.
I've gotten in so many fights, Grandma, over this name.
Yeah, but now that I have the name in the title of my TV show,
Yes.
people usually get Jeselnik.
That helps.
Yeah, big time.
Because they have to search for it on the DVR, and if
Or they just hear it. you know,
Yes.
the Jeselnik offensive.
that does help.
I feel like when you open the show and say I'm Anthony Jeselnik, you really, really emphasize that S, and that's why Tom bothers me. Well, he bothers me for many reasons, but
I can see that.
Dude, it's been
love
a
the
big
show.
It's been a big year for you.
Oh,
You
man.
sat right
There's so
in
much
here.
heat around Anthony Jeselnik right now.
I feel like
Stop over pronunciating his last name.
Why? I love Anthony Jeselnik.
Stop it.
But we got in at a good price on his stock, and
That's true.
you know, things have happened for you. In fact, I believe last year you were telling us you can't wait to a time in your life where you're not on the road as much.
Yeah.
And here he is.
And here he is
on the
back in
road.
town again,
Yeah.
back on the road.
Yeah,
now
but
it's
once
better. It's better now. Now I'm not like at some club all weekend. Now I can just I come in and do one show in a theater for 1,000 people and
then
get
boom,
the hell out.
gone.
Yeah, gone. It's great.
That is great.
It's much better.
You're at the House of Blues tonight?
Uh-huh.
Fantastic.
So the TV show thing really, like I always wonder that. I know the roast helped things out tremendously,
Oh,
right, as far
absolutely.
as the career.
Yeah.
To help you sell out those
Clubs.
clubs that now you're telling us the truth you hated.
I didn't hate it. It's a little more taxing. You know, I don't hate it like the way you guys
What, two
hate your
shows?
job.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
that's understandable.
But two shows a night type thing?
Yeah.
3 or whatever?
Yeah, 2 shows a night usually. You know, but it's just the whole weekend. You know, you got to get up and do a lot of press in the morning and stuff. It drags on you. That now I can just kind of pop in, pop out, and let the TV show do the work. You know?
One show tonight?
Yeah,
That's it?
that's it.
For the whole weekend.
HouseofBlues.com, by the way, Dan. I know you were asking.
Yeah, how are the sales going? Do we
Great. I think.
Do we need to even promote it?
I'm sure there's tickets left. It's a huge place, but yeah, let's promote it, guys.
All right.
Let's sell counterfeit tickets. Let's make as much money as we can. I'll give you guys a cut.
Sure.
HouseofBlues.com. All right, so last time we just dabbled on something that I wanted to elaborate on, and that was you. One of your breaks was getting on the Jimmy Fallon show right at Ground Zero there. And
Ground Zero is a good way to put that.
I'm sorry, being like a head writer for that or monologue writer.
Yeah,
right?
I was like one of the first. I was the first monologue writer they hired for that show.
And as I recall, one of the issues were that his sensibilities of comedy weren't always yours. Like you would write a lot of jokes that were great for you, but he is like the opposite of you. Like if I saw you do stand up and him do stand up, it just seems very, very different.
Totally.
So you writing for him just seems weird from the get-go. So I understand your career path. I wonder about that time, though, how weird that was for you.
It was weird for me. I mean, it was when I don't want to sound like I'm talking badly about Fallon because he was right to not use my jokes. You know what I mean? But I was not a good comedy writer. When there's comedians who will come on and be like, here's what I think is funny. You can take this if you want it, and if you don't, great. Or there's comedy writers who are like, this is what you want. I'm going to give it to you. And I was not a comedy writer. There were a couple people who were comedians, and I thought maybe Jimmy would like my kind of jokes, you know, or they would want to have me like just in case, because you knew the critics were going to come for him. He was like, you might as well have a mean Mamma Jam on your staff who can take people down. And then they never really needed me. And I thought he would want to do jokes he did on Weekend Update, kind of like smarter, kind of heavier jokes, and he didn't. He wanted to kind of be the fun guy, and he was right not to. But just all that frustration of like trying to give him these jokes every time, and they'd be like, no, this is good for the Anthony show, not the Jimmy show.
Yeah.
And after a year, I said, well, the Anthony show sounds hilarious. Let's go do that. So this,
Right.
my whole TV show now is just me getting it out of my system, all the frustrations from writing for Jimmy Fallon for a year.
Yeah, and it makes sense from the standpoint. And you've even said you kind of see yourself, and I assume the people hearing this know your deal, your shtick, because if they don't, this might be a really confusing conversation. But Jimmy is a very happy guy, and he's dancing around on the soda commercial, hopping up on the car, and doing all those things.
Edgy.
Not
you
edgy.
wouldn't say he's got an edge.
And then Anthony is on the far other end of that spectrum, where
Like almost annoyed by the happy guy.
A little bit. You know, I understood what he was doing and that he was right to be. I mean, he's a different show. He's got to get a lot bigger audience, and he wants everyone to love him. Whereas I want people to hate me. I like to get booed. Like, it's just funny to me.
And you're not just saying that. You really do.
No, I do, because I think it's just, if I like something and someone else hates it, it makes me like it more.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was just like, I'm going to go for my fans.
That's why we love you.
And if other people get on board with that, great. If they don't, I'm not going to sell out my fans, you know, to soften things just for other people. Like, I don't see the reason to do that.
Yeah. And so when you got your own TV show, we were interested in how that would go, and would Anthony be able to make this thing work out? And then I turned on, I think the first episode, or at least the first episode I saw and took note of, was you doing stand-up to cancer patients, and I said, okay, he's doing what he wants to do. This is his calling in life, is doing comedy cancer stand-up to people with cancer.
That was fun, and people loved that bit. That was one of the first things we did. And I think the show got better as we went on, for 10 episodes. But that cancer bit, I remember we were like, let's do a thing about cancer. It's something hard to make fun of, but we can figure it out. And the last segment of the day is me going to talk to the actual cancer patients.
Right.
And I get in there, and I'm like, so these people are all actors, right? And they go, no, these are real people with cancer. We're not even paying them. They're here like of their own free will. And I was like, oh, this could be a really interesting situation. And it was awkward for about the first 10 minutes, and then they just started to love it. Like, they realized what I was doing, and then I wasn't, pandering to them. I was just kind of doing these hard jokes that they never get to hear anywhere else, and they loved it. I hung out there for like half an hour afterwards just talking to them. They were so excited to be part of that. It was great.
Dude, it was hilarious.
Yeah,
it was really funny and really uncomfortable, which I think was the point.
Absolutely. And Comedy Central didn't want us to air it on the first episode. They were like, wait, let's save it for a little while. It's good, but we have all these other they like the panel parts of the show. They're like, let's do the panel for a little bit longer.
Latin voices.
And I was like, no, I need to have this cancer bit in the first episode. And now it's people always mention it as their favorite thing.
Yeah, if you weren't aware of Jeselnik, that kind of hits you over the head, right? Like, this is what we are.
Yeah.
We're not easing into the cancer jokes. We'll start with the cancer joke, and now anything else.
Yeah, you open with it.
You can't be shocked by anything else that we do.
Yeah.
How about one more segment? Would you mind sticking around through a commercial break?
Are we on the air right now?
No, we'll be like in 5 more minutes.
Yeah, I'll hang out.
All right, it's Anthony Jeselnik. It's Jeselnik.
Why are you saying it like that?
Donovan?
I know.
All right, I just don't want you to type in to Google JEZ.
Double Z.
Too late.
That will not do.
It is double Z.
And tonight at House of Blues, go to houseofblues.com. It's $145 on the ticket. All right, Anthony Jeselnik is at the House of Blues tonight. Houseofblues.com, and he's here in studio with us. So during the TV show, during a break,
I dare you to sound less excited doing your job. I dare you to sound less excited right now.
I'm very excited to have you in here, Anthony.
And he really is.
I really am. Look, I pre-ordered Caligula because you told me to on Twitter.
Oh, thank you.
Pre-ordered it, get it, and then it's on Comedy Central like the next day. And I'm like, well, he just tricked me into doing this. And you know what? I wasn't upset because I will do anything to further your career, Anthony. I will pay for something I can get for free, just to make sure you keep going and
I
do
don't think
your
you
thing.
Understand how DVDs and TV work.
I don't.
That's like, I didn't rip you off.
I didn't say that you ripped me off.
Very upfront. It's going to premiere on Saturday. DVD comes out Tuesday.
Like I said, though, I will do whatever you tell me to. I am just a zombie with my hands outstretched forward, just waiting for your next tweet to tell me
Which, by the way, really slowing down on Twitter.
I got my hand slapped by the corporate overlords.
Oh,
from my
you have
Twitter,
sold out.
and it made me.
Oh, are you on probation?
No, I
on
just
Twitter
it just
probation?
it, like
Twitter
ruined
jail?
Twitter for me. I was like, if they can, I've never apologized for a joke. I never will. But I tweeted a joke about the Boston Marathon the day of the Boston Marathon, and I thought I had it. I was like, this is the perfect. I'm just trying to make people laugh on a horrible day.
Sure.
And I tweeted, guys, today there are just some lines that should not be crossed, especially the finish line. And thinking like I towed that line perfectly, and I did not.
Wow.
People went crazy, and Comedy Central was very upset, and they said we can't publicly support you right now, and you're waiting to get picked up for a second season. Your whole crew is waiting to get picked up for the second season. We can't publicly do it unless you make this go away. And so I deleted it. I was very upset, and we got our second season, but it kind of ruined Twitter for me. That I was like, why mess with this stupid thing that could get me into this much trouble?
Yeah.
And I think I stand by the joke. I think it's just that now that I'm a celebrity, as much as I am a comedian, I tweeted a joke about the Aurora shooting the day of, and everyone thought it was great. I just tweeted, other than that,
Everyone thought it was great.
Everyone, I'll tell you the joke.
Look, you
I
have
said,
to follow him.
I know.
I said, other than that, how was the movie? And people and even people who were there were like, that's a pretty good one. No, I didn't really get in any trouble. Some people get upset, but I didn't get in much trouble. But the Boston thing was a whole different story that kind of ruined Twitter.
See, your views of Twitter, though, I've always enjoyed them in the past because I sense you're the guy who's really against the
Twitter gayness.
Yes, Twitter gayness, if you will. But the idea that a tornado happens and everyone feels responsible to get on there and say how profoundly sad a tornado is. Of course it is.
Thoughts and prayers drives me crazy.
Yeah,
Right.
me
My
too,
thoughts
yeah.
and prayers go out. Shut up. That is beyond useless.
All
That
you're doing is
beyond
putting the
useless.
spotlight on you.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
you're such a good person
Yeah.
that you care. Like,
Hey guys, donate
well,
to
then
the
I
Red
better
Cross
jump on and
thing
show
like I
them
did.
as well that I also care.
Well, I'm trying to make people. I'm a comedian. My job is to make people laugh. It's not my job to come on and tell you guys like how sad this is. Other people are doing that. Let me try to make you laugh.
Yeah, how about the most obvious tweets in the world?
Yeah.
Yes, that's sad. People dying is sad. We understand.
Yeah, I'm heartbroken about this recent tragedy.
Right.
Shut up. Why would I need to know that?
Man,
Well,
that's
yeah,
why you're
then-
our leader. So,
and I think people do see that, and then they feel compelled, like, oh, wait a minute, I haven't said anything. I don't want them to think I'm pro-tornado.
Yeah.
So
why
I
would
better
why
say
would you
it.
ever think I'm psyched those people died? Oh, I better get on Twitter and rectify that.
Right.
No. It's dumb.
boy, that surprised me a little bit about Comedy Central. Only that's the
Like they would get comedy?
yeah. Okay, there you go. Well, like it's the radio station that hired the shock jock because he's shocking. And then when he talked about the dragging the black guy deaths, I'm sorry, I looked at you. Then they fired him.
What a default.
No, but isn't that the?
I don't think you're helping my argument
Still
right
going
now.
back to
Gotta need him to shut up right now, right?
You're hiring Jeselnik because he's Jeselnik.
I don't know how we got to lynchings.
This is.
It was dragons.
I feel like you do understand me quite well.
There's a difference,
All right, Anthony Jeselnik.
All
Let me
right,
reset.
reset.
Let's
Yeah,
just get
let's,
serious
let's
here.
get
Let's
back
stop
here.
messing around.
Let's take it down.
And let's pull it back a notch and houseofblues.com. Go there and buy tickets. Even if you're not going to go to the show, just buy tickets.
Just get them.
We need to support Anthony Jeselnik. Buy Caligula. Watch his show. I don't know if you how do you measure ratings? Do you know on if I record your show but never watch it? Which I wouldn't do, but I'm telling everyone else I want to keep you in business.
I get numbers. You are so far out of my target demographic, it wouldn't even matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm looking at. I need some 18 to 34s.
Yeah.
But thanks, man. I think if you TiVo, I think there's like a +3 thing they do, but I don't know. I think you have to watch it because if you TiVo it, you skip commercials, and
Yes.
ratings are just for the advertisers, pretty much.
Yes.
So watch it with someone younger than you.
So
to help me out.
With like a little kid, like a 14-year-old.
Yeah,
But average
they
out.
average it to
So-
18.
Make it all together.
So when you I was going to ask if during the breaks you talked as little as we try to talk because you don't want to burn any material when you're sitting there with
What, during my TV show?
Yeah.
What, you think I just keep doing the show even though the cameras are off? What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm asking, is it a weird, because I think during our radio breaks sometimes it's almost an awkward weirdness because we don't want to talk to you about anything that's going to end up being gold, and then
Sure, and
we
I
can't
appreciate
recreate
that.
it.
I appreciate that. I mean,
you
there's a lot
appreciate
of
us
gold
not
flying
talking?
around.
Although I got a great story out of him during the break.
That's
though.
true. I told him a great Tommy Davidson story that I can't repeat.
Yeah, we don't
now.
want that on the air.
That's awesome. Very wasted.
But I mean, on the show, like you guys have your breaks are in real time, so you got to wait for like the 10 minutes until you can come back. On the TV show, you just keep on moving. I try to tape it all in an hour.
I was going to ask that. How much do you record a lot? And you obviously your show, if you've ever watched the Jeselnik offensive,
why are you saying it like that?
You do some editing. A lot of stuff is edited.
Yeah, that's TV.
Well, no, not the Fallon show.
I can hear
guess.
you and see you though on that.
Yeah, that's true. For the most part, they don't really edit.
It's
much
not
of that.
live on tape.
I mean, the beginning, the most of it is you get what you see, but then in the panel, we take a lot of that stuff a lot of that stuff out because we all have
That's
jokes
more what
that
I was
kind of
referring
planned,
to.
and then the riffing tends to be the best stuff. So we cut the panel up a lot. The panel takes up the big chunk of the show, but it's also easy and kind of fun because you're just messing around with your friends as opposed to looking into the camera and banging out a bunch of jokes.
Yeah, because you'll throw out certain topics that everybody's trying to top each other with their one-liners, and
Sure.
I wonder how many of those hit the cutting room floor.
Usually we use a whole bit. Like we'll try to do something about a story that just doesn't work. We'll have some weird game, it doesn't work, so we'll cut like a whole thing. But usually the jokes, unless they totally eat it, are going to be in there. We have great jokes for people.
So you did get renewed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're coming back. We're coming back in July 9th.
So you did what you had to do on Twitter.
Did what I had to
and
do.
Then they said, okay, second season.
Yeah, I literally couldn't look at my crew and be like, hey, because we were trying to come back early so that everyone could come back. Otherwise, people have to find other jobs, and I couldn't look at them and say, hey, sorry, I had this dumb tweet. I didn't want
I have to take this Twitter stand.
Yeah,
Sorry
so-
about your mortgage.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Okay.
I'm a boss now, and I have bosses, which is weird because you never, as a comedian, the last thing I ever wanted was to do either one of those things.
Yeah.
But now I've got them both.
It's fascinating because, and I wonder, the more people know you because of the roast and now because of the TV show on Comedy Central, are you finding your life is more or less filled with confrontation? Because the first time I saw you, all I could think of was it must suck being Anthony when he's not on stage, and people who have been served a serious amount of alcohol would certainly want to tell him why that joke wasn't funny.
I don't get a lot of the. I get the. I think people just now that I'm on TV, people just see me and just want something from me, but they don't know what it is. So like, I can't walk into a bar really anymore. It's like when people are drunk, they'll just be like, "Oh, you're the guy. Come here, I want a picture."
Call
they
my
don't
friend.
know who I am, but it's like do this, and I'm like, I don't have time for you like that. If fans come up and they're sober, I got nothing but time for them. But drunk people are the worst, and it's.
But
not
it's
even,
awesome because you can be mean to them, and it's part of your shtick.
Yeah.
And like, if someone said Anthony Jeselnik was mean to me in a bar, it'd be like they'd want a high five.
Exactly.
That'd be really awesome.
But also, I can't really be mean then because they just laugh and then stand there and still want their picture. You know what I mean? So I'm like, no, seriously, get away from me and take your ugly girlfriend with you.
Right.
They laugh at that as
Yeah.
opposed to being like, oh, I should leave this guy alone. He's clearly not into this. So yeah, that's the tough part. It's a double-edged sword.
Did you want a TV show? Like, did you go to them, or did somebody pitch you?
It was a little both. And it was never my dream to have a TV show.
Yeah.
But I've kind of. I never thought I would get this far in comedy. If you had told me, oh, you'll get a special one day, I would have been like, oh, that's amazing. That's my career. But after I did Fallon, I went right to Comedy Central and said, this is what I want to do. And they said, no, actually, we've got Colbert and Stewart